Hello, hello. I learned just to start talking a little bit more because it seems like, it's always me standing there with the straight, serious face, right? So I am here today. I'm Susan Lenart, and I am here on the Creativity Collective for Visionaries. And what my mission is, one is community. I am really looking to build a very strong community within artists and silversmiths. And why? I'm going to say that, look, I studied at the Art Institute of Chicago, and I finished my degree at Southern Illinois University many years ago. And let me go ahead and check this real quick. Oh, good, it's just 12 o'clock now. So I started a little bit early, but that's good. So I studied art as an art form, Art Institute of Chicago, Southern Illinois University. And after I had my diploma in hand, I thought, oh my gosh, now what am I going to do? Right? That's like a dilemma from a lot of artists that just really, study art. And then it's like, now you have to build your whole life. So what I did is I thought, okay, now I have to go out in life and get experiences. And that's what we're talking about today, is getting your experiences, how to move them into yourself to build a powerful body of work. So hi, Lisa, nice to see you. Hello, everybody. So, I'm going to be spending the next 6 months inside Unfolding and in my monthly subscription, and outside here. I really want to dig deep into coming up with your own voice, coming up with your own words, and really how to build a body of work. And on here, on my lives, I feel like the lives work perfectly. Every week I'm going to put in like a new film where I'm just in the studio. It's just really called In the Studio, and it's on building a body of work. I named it Part 2. And then in Unfolding, I'm really showing a lot of the other type of techniques and things like that. So good. So let me go ahead and move that upward. So today, I want to say, like, being an artist, what is it being an artist and a creator? How do you get into building a body of work? How do you get into that creative space, right? We all want it. The creative space is actually an elevated perspective. So elevated perspective, doesn't that sound beautiful? That's what my channel is all about, is like helping us to stay in this creative space, because you have two choices to stay in as an artist. One of them is the fear mode or survival, where you're like, oh my gosh, how can I do this? You have your creative blocks that happen, and you're thinking of life as not very possible. So from there, the other perspective is the perspective of creativity, which, oh my gosh, the perspective of creativity we call flow, and we call, being in the flow, we call having a passion. Think about your life if you can have a passion in your work, in your life, in whatever you're doing. Like, that's what it is to be an artist. That's what it is to find your creativity. It's like you find it through your passion. And that's like the one way to do it. So it all begins to find your passion and to move into your creative space. All begins with who you are. It all begins from the inside out. Isn't that crazy? So it's like, I realize now, when I went to art school, it was all this internal work of turning yourself inside out, and the self-examination we never heard these words when I was in school. We never heard, Leslie, hi, good morning. I'm talking about building a body of work today. So nice to see you guys. Hey, if you guys are in there, pop in and say hi in the comments. That'd be fun. I see other people are in. Oh, good. Well, thanks for showing up, you guys. Welcome, welcome. I am working hard. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this towards the end. I think I found a really cool solution for community, right? Look, I've been an artist for 30 years. I studied years and years ago. And the thing that is missing, I used to like teaching, because the thing that's missing is community and a really elevated perspective, like a higher consciousness where we can be here for each other and for the good of the whole. Like, that's what you really need to be in this creative space. So that's what I did years ago. And that's what I'm looking to do now, is like, how do we how do we connect with each other? And I did find a really good platform, which I want to talk to you guys about it in a couple minutes, where we can actually be in our studio separately and be together for a couple hours a day or whenever we want to. If you get up in the middle of the night, you could pop onto this channel, see each other, communicate, share our work. Oh my God, I'm so excited about it. Deb, hi, nice to see you. Oh my gosh, you guys, here I am on YouTube. Deb was in my course, and you know why I'm on YouTube. This is where I decided to show up. I had students, hi, Jen, hey. So, I always talk about, in our work, pick one place to show up. And I was like, I am loving YouTube more and more. One, because I'm able to find this community here. Nan, I just wrote you on your Instagram. Nice to see you. And hi, Anna. It's really cool. I liked your piece I saw today. It was so you. So, okay, so Nan's on here. So one of the things in the conversation that we're going to be talking about is like, your real body of work starts with you, the real you, and the real you inside. And when I was looking at Nan's Instagram today, Nan Marshall's Instagram, I saw her beautiful earrings that she made, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so you. For how I know you, they're stable and beautiful and just layered. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so Nan. So that was pretty cool to see. So yeah, so today, that's number one. There's going to be 5 points that I want to talk about today, 5 or 6 points. And for me, it's like being on YouTube for me is like a fresh start. And I know there's a couple people, hey, Sherry, oh my gosh, nice to see you. Many thanks for I had fun making them. So I'm starting fresh in my life. Really fresh. And, it's like undoing. So the only way you can start fresh in your life, what I realize, is just by going in and letting go, letting go, letting go. So the more time you spend letting go, the more fresh you'll be able to be. And for me, I'm interested in building a fresh new body of work. So all of this letting go has been vital in this process. You know what I mean? And it's like, some of the things that I talk about, before you can move forward, it's always letting go. So you can make space for the new to come in, if that makes sense. So I let go of a lot of things, and I'm feeling this new process of bringing in the new. And if you guys are in your studios and building a new body of work, then this is right on for you. It's like all the steps on starting fresh again. So number one, to move into creativity begins only from who you are. So even in the last live that I did, I talked about going around and gathering your information, gathering your input, gathering stones, or, on talks and visions, gathering your shapes and things, but really to build a new body of work, because I'm working my way through it now and finding it. You know what I mean? I'm finally finding my passion. And it is about finding your passion and your shapes and all of that. But it really starts from within. And I always talk about 80% of art is invisible. It's creating all of this work, right, you guys? Like, you guys know, when you get in your studio and you stand in front of your bench, if you haven't spent time designing, you're like, oh no, now what should I build, right? It's kind of a little bit hard. And me too, I'm the same. It's like I have to write things down and draw. So in here, on YouTube, I'm going to be talking a lot about building your body of work. It's going to be great if you guys have a journal with you. And so one, it starts from within you. And the story that I want to talk about that, it's who you are and where you came from. The more you know yourself, the more powerful your body of work can be, because it's about your stories, right? It's about your stories. It's about your work. Your husband says that that you're the gathering queen. I think you're right, Deb, the gathering queen, but you're also like doing this inward work too, because I know you. When you're doing this inward work, you're really, you're doing both. You know what I mean? You're learning how to process all this stuff that you're gathering too, which is pretty cool. So I wanted to talk about, like, here is an example of, to build your own unique body of work, you're the only person that can do that. And here's an example. Luckily for me, I have so many years behind me of all of this, right? Yes. It was powerful. Yes. Hi, Karen. Karen's in here. Oh my gosh, you guys. Karen Michelle is here, Deb. You know who she was there. That's nice to see you, Karen. Thanks for joining us. I wanted to tell a story of when I first started teaching years ago. I didn't realize, how powerful we are. The more we know ourselves, the stronger and more unique our body of work will be. And the reason is that you're the only person that has all these experiences within you, even though you feel normal, you feel like yourself. You're like, what's exciting about me? This is my work. And then, it's like when I look at my work a couple years back when I did Miami Swim Week, I was like, oh my God, I love that work. I can't replicate it, but I can move forward. So a little story is when I first started teaching, I would just show techniques in there. And it was so interesting because I'd have 20 people in the classroom, and it still happens now, but this was the first time for me. I would see that every single person in the room took my same technique in a 6-hour period of time, and I had 20 different styles because I just opened it up and it was more about creativity. Some people go in and they take classes and workshops and they just build exactly what the teacher does. But I always am here to help you bring out your creativity. I've been a teacher for many, many years, which is why I love, it's really why I love this whole teaching part besides this. I'm building my own body of work now. So why not come in and help other people join, So every single person had their own unique body of work. And then I realized, oh my gosh, when I found out professions or where they travel to or what their origin story is and was. So, I would have like doctors that were precision and really beautiful, beautiful precision. Other people who were artists and real exploratory. A congressperson who is more conservative. But it really is about going inside, finding your objects and gathering, and bringing it to the surface and uniting both of those. And so, even when you do a big trip, like, in your life and you're taking in and gathering, Leslie, hello, we're all here, guys. Oh my gosh, thanks for showing up. So, Another thing is that some people think you're either an artist or you're not an artist, or you're a creator or you're not a creator, which isn't true. It's like, look, I always tell this story of my father, who was a CPA and financial advisor, thought he was the most creative person on the face of the earth. You know what I mean? Isn't that crazy? So he loved, and for me too, it's like I build my companies the same way that I build a piece of jewelry. Once you're a creator, you know how to create, and that's all there is to it, right? So it all stems from the inside. Okay. Number 2, all the little details and idiosyncrasies that you put into your work that really come from you are so profound. It takes courage to put these little dents and dings or little, imperfections or little, something that we know it's your work, it's Susan's work, it's Deb's work, it's, I know, and I know there's a lot of people on here today where I know it's your work when I see the work, it's just like how I was describing Nan's work. Her work is, just like precision. So all of those things are really important. And one thing that I do know is that I introduced myself at the beginning. I know there's a lot of new people coming in, but I used to, in this case, I want to talk about when I used to do museum exhibits. So for me, it's like I did the American Craft Council in the past. I had a lot of collectors that collected my big pieces. And I did the Smithsonian show. So I do know the perspective. Like if you're doing really beautiful gold or just collector's work, there's such a beautiful market for you there. Another time we'll get into talking about markets. You know what I mean? It's like I love markets. But right now there's a lot to say about building a body of work. So I'm here this summer building a body of work. So it's the tiny details and idiosyncrasies. Think about this. Right now, anybody can go to China or go to, Indonesia and get perfect work done. And all designers and collectors know this. Like this is just a fact in life right now, right? We have AI, we have all these people that can do perfection. So that draws collectors to look for pieces that are unusual, that have little dents of differences in a piece. You know what I mean? So it's like, think about that. When you're at your bench, your piece becomes more valuable when you put a little mark in it, or when you put a little difference in there. Like, for instance, I actually had to wear these today. Um, Oh, I had to do, yay. Well, a group of us are going to India. There's a couple more spots. I'll talk about it at the end, but like, I couldn't resist wearing these today. I'm going to be putting a hinge in here, but right in here. But what if my flowers looked a little bit different on each of my earrings? What if they were a little different? For me, when I do my handmade pieces, that's what I look to do, is mark something a little bit different. This way, collectors, and not that it's always for collectors, but people look at your work and they know it's handmade and they know it's about something. I once had somebody stop me in an elevator and say, "Oh my gosh, your pieces are amazing," and I was like, "Thank you." I didn't really want to admit I made them, and he's like, "Oh my God, he's in a suit. They must be about something," and I was like, "Yeah, whatever." But it's funny. It's like, people know, your work knows, it resonates. I think about it almost as Reiki. When you're clear and you're in your flow in front of your bench, think about the energy you're putting into your jewelry work or your artwork or your paintings. It's just all flowing in there, So that's kind of interesting. Okay. So 3, I want to say, artists win awards and have their work known, right? Here's two ways. Artists win awards. I'm an award-winning artist. Who wants to say that? Or artists win awards in 2 ways. One is perfecting your craft, and really bringing it to such a beautiful, large, like, if you track artists back in time who their work has shown, there are people like, remember when Dale Kilhooly, glasswork was so big. He was brave enough to do pieces so big to make a statement that you couldn't miss it, right? So it's like, when you guys see my work, when I do runway, if you guys are on here, if you guys don't know my runway work, if you want to pop in, there's a couple, I love this because there's a couple places that you guys could pop into. And a lot of people on here know my work, but I know I have a lot of new people too. So if you pop into Miami Swim Week, you will see that I put together a body of work. I had 8 models and I could dress them from head to toe. And this was so much fun to do with jewelry because I could make a big statement. You want to make a big statement with your work when you're building a body of work. And I'll talk more about that later, because with my group that I had, we did my group a year ago, a business group, that I'll be teaching at some point soon again. It was about, we built a body of work together, and then you build your line from there. But why did I do Miami Swim Week? Because you get attention, you get orders. If you want wholesale or retail, you get, it's like Newsweek loved one of my models there, had it all over Newsweek, which was pretty cool. And from that, it develops your name, it develops your brand, so you can work with whoever you want to work with. When, if you're, I have people think about, where do you want to show up at? Is it a gallery of your choice? You find someone who fits and aligns with you. But that's all marketing. That's going to be a different day. Okay. So you win awards in 2 ways. 1, perfecting your craft, and 2, expressing your craft very creatively, getting into your creative space and expressing yourself as loud and as personal as you possibly can. Does it make sense? Yeah. Oh, sweet Brooke. Is Brookie on? Oh, Brooke is on here. Hi, Brooke. Brooke is with me now. Brookie's on here. There's Sherry, Brooke, and there's a couple people that that were over out this way in Cleveland. Okay. So Brooke, you guys, is working. I have a beautiful team of the 3 of us. Oh my gosh. And Karen's on, and Brooke today. It's Brooke, Karen, and I. And I tell you what, when they say there's magic in the 3s, there's magic in the 3s. So it's been really fun. I'm going to have on here, you guys, I feel like these, as I'm going through a body of work, there's there's this whole, like a 6-month body of work and starting fresh and starting new, like really starting new. I'm rebuilding everything new and fresh. Even my work is lighter. So it's like I feel like these lives are part of being able to talk through like the real details of building a body of work. And then I do one film every week. That's just me in my studio filming. And then, you guys, I am starting brand new. If anyone wants to join my subscription, it's $25 a month. It's unfolding, but I'm doing it in a whole new way. I'm doing a 6-month program on building a body of work. But I'm out here too, so don't worry about it. So I'm going to say, if you guys want to see a body of work, that jumped down to Miami Swim Week, and you can see it on the runway. I love the runway, even though, it's a certain voice, right? It's a certain voice. Okay, so that's ways that you can express yourself. And that brings me to, I'm usually one that likes to express myself. So think about how you are going to express yourself. Are you going to be perfect, or are you going to get inside and express? And there's room for it in your jewelry. You know what I mean? There's definitely room for it. I have my book, Making Connections, and I'm going to actually pull out, I'm showing like a little hinge, and I'm going to pull out, but this book here, to find your passion, you guys, this one, I don't have this one for sale. This one is on Amazon used, if you guys want to find it. I sold 20,000 copies of this. You know why? Because I loved it. I loved this subject. When you love your subject and have a passion for it, it's going to sell. Like, end of story. There's nothing more to say. Isn't that crazy? So this is why, like, we are not a threat to each other as artists. Like, I have my love. My concept for this book, I was traveling a lot internationally. I was studying talisman, all over, and studying the whole idea of jewelry and talisman. And when I did my studies of talisman and how original pieces were built, I did ethnographic repair on jewelry. And what I saw were pieces that were not perfect in the museums. La la, my heart always comes out when I see la la. And she's got a bunch of hearts there too. Oh my gosh, my heart. See, you guys, so isn't this interesting? Lala is a talisman for me because she opens my heart. So that's like what talisman are about. If you had a question, it's funny how things come up like that, right? So when I was traveling all over, I spent a lot of time like in Paris and these more ancient cities. In Milan and in Indonesia, there were these ancient cities, and I loved walking around and looking at architecture and how things were put together and not soldered. Like all of this ancient work in museums, if you have a chance, get into a museum and look at this ancient work. They're patched and they're put together, and they're objects that are built. These objects that we built, they can't help but to be a talisman because we're standing in front of our studios and we're building, right? So this to me was my passion. Took me a couple of years to write, and I loved it. It made my life so happy and beautiful, and it made my work happy and beautiful. And I sold all of it, which I always talk about how much you sell. Some people are like, that's not really with the important stuff. But so when you find your flow and when you find what you love, we're starting fresh here. We're starting brand new, fresh, and we're starting new. So remember at the beginning of this talk, if you were here, I talk about in order to start new, you have to let go. And when you let go, let go, let go, you can get in here and start new. So if you're having trouble getting, the world has changed, you guys. Have you guys noticed that the world has changed? Deb, hi Deb, I just saw you on here now. Oh my gosh, so nice to see you guys. Oh, there's another Lala. Oh my gosh, hello from Vietnam. Wow, very nice to see you. Wait, I think it's Vietnam. It's cut off. I hope so. That's so interesting. So, so this is your work. So it's like, that was my work to like find your passion. And that brings me into number 4, pick a concept. So for your body of work, it's letting go and it's finding a passion. Like, what do you love? Flowers, color, gems? Like, do you love, like in this case with the book, I loved architecture. Like I love architecture. That's the first thing I want to do. So it's like, of course, my book is about architecture because then I love it. My work is about architecture, you know? So you want to pick a concept. And then this is when I actually have in my notes where I'm supposed to talk about my book, Making Connections. So I'm just a little bit off, but that's okay. You know, I think we have it. And, you know, in this way, it's like I'm still being, so how can one, how can you build anything in jewelry that you would like to? What do you love? And I'm going to remind you guys of this. Some people I'm reminding, some people are seeing it fresh. I want to bring this up again and show you guys. Ta-da! This was my piece that I did many years ago, and it was from a body of work called Talisman. And this is a complete poker game that has 52 playing cards, aces, king, queens. It has cigarette butts. It has poker chips. Oh, well, I shrunk the poker chips down. But and it's messy and to me, I wanted this piece to feel like you're in the middle of a poker game. And in fact, there's $100 bill on there. You could take the necklace apart and play a game of cards if you wanted to. You could open up the $100 bill and you're back in the game. So it's like I was playing poker, a lot of poker. I grew up playing poker. So it's like this piece was my passion. What is your passion? Think about that. I joined the membership group last week. Yay! Okay. So guess what? So is it Nicola Jan? That's such an interesting name. I'm so glad. I wanted to tell you guys, and I had more to talk to you about, but as long as the membership came up, I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I'm starting brand new in the membership. I'm going to do 6 months so what you guys see here on the outside of building a body of work and getting fresh and new, I'm going to have on the inside. I have a whole new way that I'm presenting, unfolding, and that's at $24.99 a month. And guess what's going to be in there? I'm so excited, you guys. I'm going to send out an email. But inside of the membership is all ways where you could let go, get clear. I talked to you about a whole different way. There's 3 parts to my whole idea of building a body of work. 1 is me talking live every week. I'm going to be here. 2, I do an extra one where I'm just in my studio, bumming around, kind of talking through just issues and just ideas that I have, more of like spontaneous in the studio. And I have a couple up there. I just put one up yesterday. And 3 is inside unfolding. I want to show you guys the letting go, the breath work, the business talks. I get deeper into things. I show more techniques, even in jewelry, deeper. And we have a beautiful group of people, like-minded people. And it is about raising your perspective, being here about the good of the whole. In a group, inside the membership, we are strong because strength in a group is profound. And I have a surprise coming June 1st. I have a surprise community for us because for me, I'm always looking to Lala Redwood. I love your name. Oh, heart. There's Lala Stein. Okay, good. So in here, you guys, I found this community. I'm going to be sending out links to it for anybody in Unfolding already in the membership. You guys will all get a link, and I'm going to start next week showing up. It's like a Zoom. It looks like a Zoom where we can show up and be in our studios together. And we can I'm just going to set it up next Wednesday to just have my computer on, and we can all put our computers on and be with each other and do the work. Wouldn't that be fun? I'm working on a profound, large body of work, which means that you get that loneliness being in your studio, right? We need our group. We need our people. We don't need any kind of people. We don't need petty people. We need people who are about the good of the whole. And I know, and this idea is coming to me from Deb and from my group that I had in pathfinding. I do this beautiful, beautiful course called Pathfinding that is really about getting deeper into it, that I'm not going to talk a lot about here, but I realized and for me too, as artists, I'm here this summer. I made a commitment to myself to be in my studio and to just roll out these new ideas and new direction. And I want this community because you get lonely, right? I don't always have to travel. I used to always travel. It feels so good to stay put. But when you stay put, you miss your people. So this is going to be free with the membership, and I'll send it out. Everybody in there, you can join, and then we're going to start like fresh. I want to meet for like 2 to 3 hours. I'm going to be on this platform, and you guys can all join me, and we'll just work in our studio separately. We can share our work. We can type to each other. We can talk, to each other too. So I'm really excited about that, you guys. And I'll send an email about that. So look out for my email tomorrow or Friday. All right, now back to here, back to the body of work. Look at how organized I am. Remember when I used to do, some people knew me when I did jewelry talk. And it's like now I really want to make sure that I get the points in. And then we can have fun and relax when we're in, like for my studio day, as I film, I'm more relaxed and casual, and just you could put it on the background and look or don't look. And so picking a concept. If you don't know, so picking a concept, what I want to say is number 5 is, what do you love? What do you love? What do you love, right? And, we start thinking if we're doing jewelry, we have to do little stones and little this. I'm asking you to express yourself. You can sell and you can show and you can use these big, amazing pieces to get you where you want to go. Whether you want it in a gallery. You guys saw my poker game. This one got me into the Smithsonian, where I brought little pieces and sold all my little pieces. Make sense? I think a community is so important. There's a book called The Power of Others that talks about that in a profound way. Ooh, good one, Deb. I love that. It's like, Deb knows, it's like the power of a group. I would see that. I would see a beginner come into one of my classrooms, and people who are in there for a long time, this beginner could be raised up with the rest of the group in their consciousness, in their flow, and in their work. Just think about how strong you are as a person, or maybe you're not, but maybe you're about the good of the whole. We only want people in here who are ready to be about the good of the whole, because in our group is power and strength and opening and creativity. This whole YouTube channel here is all about creativity heals. Creativity heals. Community heals. Isolation makes you crazy. And it really is true. So it's like the power of a group, of a good group, is friggin' amazing. And that's what I'm looking to do. So I hope you guys want to do that. So what do you love? What would be a dream of yours? How would you build on an idea? And this is what I want to say to you guys. And I said it a little bit last week, but I want to say it again. Ask for an idea if you don't know. How about that? Like, I always forget about this. Always. But recently I've been using it a lot. What about if you said to yourself before you went to sleep, hey, let me get an idea about what is next for me in life. What's next for me in my work? How could I bring up the level of my work? How could I work on a concept in my work? How could I enjoy being in my studio better? All of these type of things. How can I raise my kids better? How can I, have more time in my life? You can create all of this. I think isolation helps you to know your own voice. Absolutely. That's right, Deb. So Deb and I, Deb was in this beautiful course that I had called Pathfinding. That's on my website if you want to check it out. I'm not doing a lot, but it's like, it was profound. So what I did is I asked for 8 weeks of profound time, and we did. That's isolation, but we also worked in a group. But when you're isolated, yeah, you learn, right? You really learn, and you can teach yourself a lot, and then there's a time to get near people. So there's the balance in life, right? As artists, we are people who like to be alone at some points, right? We have to. Okay. I want to tell you guys that I put in here also inside this studio. I just put it out here because I wanted it. There's a meditation in here called Forest Walk. And I use that meditation a lot. And if you are looking for a body of work, or you're like looking to gather, like, what are your pieces? Gather your shapes. It's actually a gathering, which, I know some people have their gatherings. I brought a little bowl of my gatherings, just simple, just very simple. It's like this. So the forest walk, I'll talk about in a minute. That one is going to be a really good internal meditation to sit down, and I bring you on a walk, and you have your journal with you, and you could record in your journal afterwards. And it is all about, gathering your pieces as you go. What do you see along the way? Just follow it. I think it's been very profound for a lot of people. They really liked it. So I decided, since I was talking about it this week, to bring it out onto the outside of this program. If you guys like things like this is what I have on the inside of my subscription to join. So unfolding, and it's pretty cool. I built unfolding 2.5 years ago, so there's so much in there to work with. And I get in there, and and then I meet once a week live, where we can see each other on Zoom, and where we can talk to each other too. And it helps you build, because I want to make sure people are getting the right ideas from it. You know what I mean? The right information they need from it. I want to show you guys this. This has been really fun. This is in my new body of work. And for me, it's like I'm loving the teeny tinies. How about this? These are all of these, even the tiniest of tinies are here. And these are all my shapes. So it's like, when building a body of work, what color do you love right now? Write it down. What color do you love? I'm going to show you blue. Mine is blue. And, these are going to be blue too. I really tried to get these pieces finished. I wanted to show up wearing a brand new pair of earrings that I'm working on, but I didn't get them finished yet. But you can see here this is a subject that I talked a little bit about earlier. When you see me next time, I'll wear them. There's going to be a hinge in here. But look at how the tops of my earrings are a little bit different. So when you talk about making, your handmade pieces distinct, it's okay for a little mistake in there. It's okay for a little bit of difference in each side of yours when you're building your work. Right now, into pearls, all sorts of colors of pearl. Luminescent Lala. I love that. What other colors? It's summer, so I'm blur too. You mean you're in a blur, or you love blue? You love blue. Blue, okay, good. I thought so. But listen, blue is your voice. Like, the way to get into your body of work is also getting into this throat chakras. A lot of my studies, you're going to see, and the way the world operates is 80% internal. Like, we do most of our work for a body of work, or all of this, internally, and then the 20% is on the outside. So blues are your throat chakra, and that really is the sky and the beautiful, the flowers, right? All those bright flowers. Oh my gosh. Golden, Deb says. Labradorite, darkest blue with flashes. Ooh, that darkest blue, that indigo, is your third eye. So you're in your intuition, girl. Like, that's all sometimes you need to do, is pull these colors together. And opalescent aqua. I love that, Sherry. All this kind of real glitter. Oh, that makes sense, because you're so magical too, real magical. So yeah, so it's like your colors, like, really, and you're going to see, you're naturally drawn to them. I always say, if you want to build your body of work, go look in your junk drawers, go look at what you don't want to throw away, go look at what you're keeping, and it's in there. I'm opening up spiritually so much at the moment. So blue makes sense. You know what, Leslie? I knew that was happening for you, because I saw you at Tucson, and I felt like this is all new beginnings right now, you guys. The world has changed. I'm telling you, the way that we have done our life and business and everything. Can you guys feel it? Can you guys feel how different things are? So, the world is different. I can't do business the way I used to do business. Isn't that crazy? So I've been bumbling around because I love business. To me, it's an art form, you know? And yeah, you see it. Really loving all shades of green right now. Heart. Oh my gosh, that heart chakra. You feel so. What I decided to do was all of my business from my heart chakra. And I'm actually trusting this process that I'm going to be safe because that's one of my earrings are not ready, but I want to wear them anyway. My entire, oh yes, Lala says your entire world has changed over the last year. You feel it. I know. The whole world has changed, you guys. And some people, it's like we're raising our vibration. We can't do things the way that we used to. Some people are raising who have worked out their karma, a lot of their karma are really raising to an amazing consciousness. If you look at it, you can't be around your same friends. You can't, unless they took the raise with you. You know what I mean? Some people are going into the position of having to burn off a lot of karma right now, which I feel like I was doing for the past 12 years. You know what I mean? But I understood the way life worked then, and I understood business then. So it was maybe easier for me. But the world is different. So what I'm doing is I'm showing tools how to show up in the world and heal. Creativity heals. Community heals. And what I'm doing, because I'm seeing so many people struggling, we're like really, because the world is different. Like we have to understand the world's different. Let's form a community, a strong community, And so I'm just showing up and really kind of, I've been an artist for so long. I've took this elevation. I've took like really teaching and working out my work. And I'm just on because I love doing this, but also it's like however can help people. So that's what the subscription is about. If you want to join, it's starting new, starting fresh, nothing like before. And I meet with people once a month and we talk, but also inside of there is where we can sit like this, but we all are going to be on there. And I'll send you guys all a link. And we're doing this to be in our studio separately, but all together. And that just automatically comes with the subscription. And then there's a lot of like, because for instance, I gave you guys the forest walk. You guys have the forest walk, the meditation. If you have trouble with meditations, if you have trouble with focusing on meditations, what I do first is breath work and movement, and how that heals, makes you beautiful, makes your age reversal. If people saw me 10 years ago, they would be like, somebody just said that to me today. Michelle, even 3 years ago, it's like this breath work is age reversal because you could go in. So I studied energy work all over the world. I studied it through Talisman. I've studied through shamanism. I love studying the way people heal in different countries, and through jewelry, through symbolism, through all of this. And so what this is about is unfolding. It's based on, I ended up getting a Kundalini yoga certification, but I made it my own for artists and creators, the movement in there, the talks in there, all of it, because we're not all Indian people. I love, it's Indian philosophy. It all came back from so many origins, from South America, from, all of this beautiful, profound breath work that just can shift you and change your life. So I'm really making a point. Yeah, Leslie says, I'm lost without community. I know you don't need a lot. I really need to connect with my people. There you go, Leslie. I loved when I saw you in Tucson. So, I have a very, very cheap connection, but I'm here too at once a week if people don't want to be, if you don't want to subscribe, but if you do want to subscribe, we could meet at any time. If you wake up at 2:00 in the morning, you could pop on to here and find people who are on. Like I know Emma's going to be on because she's in England, and if you're in different countries, you could pop on and just communicate with other artists. So I'm loving this. So, so this is kind of what all of this really is about. Like we're growing, we're changing. If you feel stronger from my talk today, if you feel enlightened from my talk today, you're my people, I'm your people. Let's get into this group together. Does that make sense? So, yeah. and it's like find our way along. I actually developed one of the most important things for me out here recently in the past years. I really got to have a strong core group of physical people here that really have I've connected with, and our power, we just get more powerful together. And you guys are going to see more of these people too. Oh my gosh, they're pretty amazing. Sherry got to meet Dr. Sam and Monica. I don't think you met Monica, but we're like just really work with energy in a crazy way. So inside Unfolding, it's like I'm going to become more and more vocal about how I work with energy from what I've learned, how I bring it through my body to heal, to make me beautiful, to make my digestion good, to make my work amazing, to understand my intuition. You can do all of this with this energy that you just beautiful energy you bring into your body. There's nothing bad about it. So through that, it's like we're all saying, yeah, I know. So I think this is going to be kind of cool. And you guys, I'm always open for ideas. So if you guys ever, are like, hey, let's do this, or, whatever we're doing. But this is the Creativity Collective for Visionaries. It's magic. Yeah, that's right. I know. So, and I've seen Leslie transform your whole self. Leslie showed me a picture of herself when I first met her, and I didn't even know it was the same person. Because when you start bringing like your love and your passion and your light, and not some people, they get in their studio and they get afraid somebody's going to copy them, and you could go off down a bad trail when your mind takes over. You're in your studio and you're like blah 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 blah, how your mind talks to you. It's important to have this streamline of music and a community. And no, I saw when I taught this in intentional metalsmithing, I saw people very strongly come out with their own work in a very powerful way that now is translated to so many people who are brave getting your work out there. Being brave was one of them. Did I say that? One of the numbers in here was being brave, and to be able to put your real. So yeah, you can have all this energy going through your body. You can heal it. You can put your intuition in there. When your intuition tells you to build something, do it. 2.5 years ago, you guys, right after I finished my Kundalini yoga training, my intuition, like every day I would get these downloads, and it was unfolding of what to put into Unfolding, how to do it. And I realize now, 2.5 years later, I have the whole creative, the strong, it's a support system. Unfolding is a support system to getting to our magic. Support system to getting to our magic. I actually have the grand, huge, creative 8-week course that'll be coming up in September, but I'm not going to talk about that today. I'll talk about that another day. Make sense? So if you guys aren't subscribed, subscribe. It's $25 a month. It's brand new if you're ever in it before. June 1st, we start the platform of community. So, and I'll meet next Wednesday, right after we talk here. We'll jump on and we're going to meet, and you guys need to download the area and get in there and be familiar with it. So then when we meet right after this, you'll be ready. Make sense? Okay. So all three of these work together. So if you're having trouble, like if you listen to this forest walk and it's troublesome for you, what I show in Unfolding is the breath work and the movement, so you can get your body into a state where you can do the meditation. To me, that's all yoga is. and Kundalini yoga is so completely different than, which is what I base things on, so completely different than any other yoga. It really, what it matches well with is tantric dance, which is, Kundalini yoga is just energy work. So a lot of times you're just sitting on your butt and you're doing the breath work and doing movements, and you're working your diaphragm, and you're getting out all the old, bringing in the new, and it elevates your perspective and it changes your life. You know what I mean? So I've got a lot of different plans moving forward. So in the forest walk, you'll be getting your shapes, taking a look at animals, seeing what comes to you as I talk you through it. And then, because what I did want to talk about with your body of work too is your shapes. What are your shapes? It's like I'm really getting into my shapes. Here's my shape. Oh my gosh. These are all these little prayer boxes that I'm doing, a whole bunch of them that I'm doing in my new line. It's going to look different than just gems on here, but it will be I'm excited about that. You guys will see. I'm talking about a body of work as I'm building my body of work. Emerald green. Ooh, emerald green. How beautiful is that? That's like rainforest, right? And that's heart, all heart. I love tourmaline, I think, because it's all green and pink, which is the heart. So it's like, what shape are you attracted to? There's a hollow form and it's a circle. This circle, and remember, you guys, when I traveled when I was in my 20s through all these cultures, I was collecting these beautiful talisman from all over. Satnam, Lala says. The Lala. Satnam, yay, Satnam, absolutely. Yes, I think, is that part of your culture, maybe a little bit of your culture, Lala? So, okay, so symbolism, and I won't talk a lot about it today. I'm just going to brief on it. Maybe next time I meet, I'll talk. I have just different subjects. Body of work is huge. So, your shapes, like what are your shapes? And in fact, I want to keep this to an hour, and we're on 50 minutes. And I want to always, if you guys have anything to say or anything you want to hear, let me know too. So this is all like, Rainbow Moonstone. I'm obsessed. I love that. I didn't even see that one. All new beginning. Okay. It's all new beginnings as well. So that makes sense. Yes. All new beginnings. If you're on new beginnings, love stones, but I want to include my enamels into my pieces. I love that. There's so many blues in enamels. Oh, you like all your blues too. Perfect. Yes. Oh, your entire life has changed over the last year, and I feel it. Yes, right. All of these. I live in green, and I have for years. Oh my gosh, I love that. So, I actually decided I need more symbolism in my life. So I'm actually going back to triangles. Mantra says, Sherry, triangles are so friggin' amazing. I loved. Why don't I have a triangle in my hand? I love triangles because triangles, when I was doing a wholesale line for like Ann Taylor and, for Proving Connection, Henry Bendel, those type of lines, it's like we had to move so quick. I worked for Nordstrom. They would fax me over like back in the day an order, and they'd want samples done the next day. They'd fax it over like 6 o'clock at night, and I had to like get these samples done, stay up all night. That's how fashion used to be. Hi, Susan. So good to be here. Vivi. Oh my gosh, Barb. And Barb, this is my new community. You guys all know Barb with Vivi Magoo in Tucson. We were talking about that. I always love that Barb shows up for this, and I show up for Barb. That's important for me. It's like Barb's my people, and she actually has an event at Tucson. And it's like, someone is your people and matches you because you just love being around them. When you leave them, you feel better. And when someone isn't your people, when you leave them, you feel exhausted, right? You guys know people like that. So, Barb, I'm saying that in Unfolding, I'm starting a whole new community where we can be in our studios, and it's almost like a Zoom. It's called Discord. And for everybody in Unfolding and in my subscription, you'll all get a link by like Friday or Monday, and by Wednesday we're going to show up live and be in our studios. If anyone is interested, watch. But this is going to be a lifetime of it in there, is us being able to see each other, because I realized, like, when I had my course that Deb was in, my course called Pathfinding now. And if you're curious about pathfinding, you could look at it on my website. But pathfinding is about digging so deep and knowing yourself in this whole new way and being profound in the world. So, Lori, hi. Oh my gosh, nice to see you. All right, you guys, look at this, all my people. So that's what we're going to do. But yeah, your shape. So triangles, when I had my wholesale line, I love the sharpest triangles that I could have in triangles. And that's like movement. When they're pointed down, it's movement, moving fast. It's like arrows where you're moving and going. So if you're liking triangles, it's about movement, and you're focused and you're going towards what you want. If it's flipped upside down, that is the pyramid shape, which means that you are centered and grounded, and that's a pyramid. I don't like the pyramid as much as I like the Triangle. I hope we'll be able to see this live talk from you again soon. I'm going to come on every Wednesday, you guys. The inspiration flows, and I have to go, Deb. It's so nice to see you. Well, I'm here every Wednesday at 12 noon. So if you guys hit that bell here, you'll get a reminder. And that doesn't cost anything. If you guys hit the join, you guys can join it's $24.99 for unfolding in a brand new way. And that's where we have the community. So I'll be here for free, though. Circles are endless life, and we only have about 5 more minutes. So if anyone has questions, but in the new community, we can type and talk like this, but we can see each other. It's like a Zoom. And I remember when I had people out for my last workshop, we were like, dang, I wish we had something like Zoom where we could see each other. And I found something like Zoom. We could share our work. We can have a really positive body of people where we inspire each other. How about that? Karen Montgomery, blue, blue, blue. I just saw you now. How did I miss that? Blue, blue, blue. Triangles. Sherry says triangles. Mantra says, yes. Okay, good, good, good. Yay. So circles are endless life. And look at that. That's what but look at the shape of these circles. They're not very even. They're all like telling a story. You know, it actually has this raveling of a story in here. Telling a story through your work. Telling a story through your work. And that's going to be embedded in unfolding too, about getting into storytelling. Circles. Hearts, oh my gosh, we know hearts. I can tell you there were 2 profound people that died almost at the exact same time in my life. I never liked hearts, never saw much use for it when I was younger. I carried 2 stones around with me wherever I went. So hearts are love, of course. They really, really are love. And, you know, to me, this is the cross. This is the compass. This is the north, south, east, west. This is the plus sign for abundance. To me, this is abundance. However you look at it, it's abundance, you know? So in all cultures, I promise you, all cultures, the square, being grounded, being centered, you are grounded. Sometimes when you love a lot when you need these, it's good to put in your life too, right? Love from Texas. Aw, thanks, Diane. It's so nice to see you. I'm glad I had your description. All new, Deb. Thank you. I love you, and it's all new, so you guys can see brand new June 1st. And I'll be in there, and I'll talk about it too, the new Discord, and get you guys all on there. Helen, do I join using, yes, the join button. Oh, thank you, Helen. Do the join button. I really like to keep it at such a good price, so anyone... so here on YouTube, hit the join button. We're doing it from YouTube. You know, I have one from Kajabi also. So if you go on my website, you could be in Kajabi or YouTube. But here's where I show up. This community is so exciting. Thank you, Leslie. I was thinking of you. It was so much fun to see Lala and Leslie in Tucson, and Barb, of course. But it was really like reminded me, we sat, and I miss times like that. You know, maybe we're going to have glasses of wine together in our community, right? Brilliant. Thank you. Okay, good. Thank you, Helen. I look forward to seeing you. And you'll see, I meet live. Look at the live dates. I meet live, you know, just once a month there. But we're going to start meeting, you know, casually in our studios where I'm not in charge. We'll all be in charge when we meet. Does that make sense? When we meet in unfolding, I'm always talking, and then other people talk too. But when we meet in our studios, we don't have to talk. We can turn our sound off. We can talk, but we can be together. Yay. Okay, you guys. So I have a new one that I just popped on here. I'm just every week putting in just how I'm working through my body of work in my studio. And I'm showing up live here every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern. And unfolding, join the subscription, and it's really cool. I'll be there in a couple weeks, 2 weeks. I show up live, but I'm putting film in there to help you guys. It's like we're all starting new because the world is new. Anyone else want to say anything else before we have to go? Karen, I wonder if Karen's still on here. I like our chat to stay here. I don't know how to make my chat stay here. Engage with my audience, show your support. Oh, this is show your support. Okay, you guys. All right. Everybody's good. And I will see you, if nothing else, next Wednesday live, where we're just kind of talking about just being an artist, being an inventor, being a creator. And I love you guys so much. Thanks for being here. Aw, so nice to see you, Sherry, or to see your name. I'll be seeing you soon, Sherry. You're in Unfolding, so I'll be seeing you next Wednesday. Okay, you guys. Mwah. Thank you. Oh, terrific. Gotta go to your bench now. Go to your bench. Be inspired. You brought new love. Oh, yay. Thank you, Lori. I love that. Thank you.